Well, Coach, just kind of for starters, as you looked at Game 1 tape, defensively, I want to talk about who stood out to you in a positive way. What were some of those things that you liked that you might have seen?
I thought at times we did some good things in the run game when we did, played our technique right and played our leverage right and our gaps correctly. With the defensive line, Carlos Allen, A.J. Holmes, I thought Keith Cooper did some really good things at times. Brandon Mack, and then there were some times where, we struggled in terms of maybe knowing what to do or how to do it quite as well as we needed to. Linebacker play at times was pretty good, and then, same thing from that regard. So we did some good stuff in the first game. There's a lot of stuff. You usually make the most progress early in the year, and certainly there's some things that we've got to improve on going into this next ball game.
You've talked a little bit about Carlos Allen. I want to ask you, what is it about him and his game that you appreciate? Where is he bringing value to this team?
He's a very explosive athlete. I think he plays with great leverage, plays with a low pad level, and can play vertical and can play lateral. And so for us, with what we're doing in the run game, he's the guy that we're counting on to do a really good job in the middle of the defense. And he's doing a nice job right now, and I think he's just going to continue to get better the more reps he gets in practice and in these ball games.
I want to ask you as well, just another individual, Latrell McCutchen, obviously has to sit out last year, back again this year. How fun has this been for him, to be back out on the field? What do you like that you've seen from him since you've been a part of this program?
He has a great attitude and a great demeanor. He's not perfect, none of us are, but in general, he's one of the guys that has just a very consistent, positive attitude, great demeanor when he walks in the building every day for meetings, for training sessions, for practice, and he comes out and he performs every day. And so that's been a lot of fun for me to see. You can tell he loves the game, and it's important to him. And I think that helps him play at a high level and also is a really positive influence on the guys around him.
I want to ask you as well, as we look forward to this week and a big opponent here in Oklahoma, how do you go about preparing for top 25 team, that type of environment? What does that affect the approach? What is the approach when you are preparing for that type of opponent?
Approach is no different than last week, and it'll be no different than next week. It's just we got to come up with a game plan that's within the framework of what we do and give our guys the best angles and matchups to match the schemes that they run and the personnel that they have. We poured everything into that first ball game against UNLV, both as players and as coaches. Didn't get the result that we wanted, but that's just a starting point. And we got a great opportunity this week, a tough challenge in a tough environment. And you do try to prepare them a little bit for just to be aware, hey, there's going to be tempo. It's going to be more difficult to communicate. So hand signals are important, things of that nature. But in terms of just in general preparation, we treat every week the same, and every week's important to us. We want to go 1-0.
You may have just touched on it, but just the last one from me. What has the message to your group, your position group, your defense early on this week been?
I think just not making the same mistakes that we did in the first ball game. We got to coach better. The players need to perform better, and there's some things. You're never going to be perfect. You can never cover every scenario, but certainly if we made mistakes in terms of technique and fundamental, eye discipline. There's a lot of times where our eyes were not where they needed to be in the ball game, and that is a bad start to a play that usually don't recover from very well. So those are the things. Don't make the same mistakes again. Learn from the mistakes fundamentally, schematically, and let's go attack the next week of prep. Those are the biggest things. And I think early in the season, typically, you make the most progress between game 1 to game 2, game 2 to game 3, and that's certainly what we need to do this week.